Welcome to the Building Up Women in Property podcast. I'm your host, Rebecca Bangura, and I'm thrilled to have you here with me today. This podcast is for ambitious women who work in property and construction, who want to learn how to have a career they love on their terms. Join me every week where I'll leave you excited and confident to take your next steps. Thanks for being here with me. Now let's get started. Hello you are awesome. Thank you for being here. As always, I really appreciate you making the time to spend with me. And today we are talking about finding your purpose. This is a conversation I have quite a bit because women come to me when they are feeling lost in their careers and they are trying to work out what is the next step, what is the right thing for them to pursue that will keep them engaged and excited and challenged, but also rewarded and with opportunity for growth and progression and personal development. And also allow them to have a life outside of work and not be entirely consumed by their career. I found that this happens particularly for women once they get to kind of a mid-career point. So once you have, 10 or 15 years experience under your belt, the challenges around your career really do shift. You are at a point where you are proficient and highly competent at what you do. And quite often taking that next step in your career isn't as easy as it once was because you don't necessarily know that that's the right thing for you. You don't necessarily know that you want to step into that senior leadership role, or you may perceive that there are lots of personal sacrifices that come along with taking that next step. And if that resonates with you, I just want to let you know that nothing has gone wrong. It is perfectly normal that we should want to stop and assess our careers. And unfortunately, we are never taught this. While at school and university, they talk about you'll have so many different careers through your life, we're never taught how to actually reflect on where we're at and understand what we want in the context of creating a meaningful and purposeful and enjoyable life and career for ourselves. And that's why it's so important that we do have this conversation, because we often get to this point, we feel like we've hit a brick wall and we don't know where to go to next. And we're left with this big question of, how do I find my purpose? What am I meant to do in this world? And I know that this is something that absolutely happened to me 5-6 years ago now, where I literally got to a point where I couldn't see what was the next step in my career. And I didn't know what I was working for anymore or what I was working towards. And I had to go on this big personal journey of what I actually valued and what I actually wanted to do in the world, what I wanted my legacy to be, and really connect with my purpose. To be honest, it was the first time I'd ever done that. I went to uni, I finished school, I went to uni. I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I wanted to go into business. I studied marketing and management and then left uni and started working in marketing, but in the project space. And I fell in love with project management. And then I pursued that. And that led me into the property and construction industry, where I literally have spent, 17 years working up from a project coordinator right up to being a senior program manager for large scale property development. And whilst I've loved being in property and development and that progression and that journey, I never actually stopped and thought about whether this was what I genuinely wanted and if it aligned with my values and the legacy I wanted to leave in the world. And, to be honest, it's probably fine, because I think when we are starting out in our careers, we probably don't have enough context and life experience to even be able to answer those questions. And so I think if you're kind of coming at this a bit later, that's okay. For me, it was certainly my late 30s that I stumbled on this and explored this. And that is actually why my business is called Beautiful Disruptions. And that name came from my experience of trying to uncover my purpose and really connect with what I want and what my mission was. And the only way I could describe it was as a beautiful disruption, because it was such a growth process for me and such a journey. And I literally felt like I was challenging everything in my career through that process. But it was also this really beautiful and satisfying journey, and one that I wouldn't change for the world. And it's now absolutely what I guide my clients through, hopefully in a more pain-free way than I probably experienced. I certainly like to hope I'm helping them shortcut that process. But I think this question of, what is my purpose and what am I meant to do in the world is so important. It's something that we all grapple with. And it's not an easy answer. For most people, we don't just land on clarity with this. We have to work through it. And the way I like to frame this is rather than sort of asking yourself, what is your purpose? I like to think about this in terms of what is your mission? What is that thing that absolutely motivates you and excites you and drives you forward? This is not about what do you want or what do you specifically want to do. This isn't about a job title or a salary. This is about the impact and the influence that you will have. Like, what is that thing that ignites the fire in you and really lights you up? What are the things that you would talk about nonstop and the things that really matter to you? So often we think that our purpose is tied to a specific job, and it really isn't. Our purpose is much bigger than that. And so I think it's just good to separate the two out. And, if I give you an example from myself, what I do is work with women in male-dominated industries to have careers and lives they love and to thrive at work and at home. But that's the result I get, people. The mission for me is about creating genuine diversity and equity in male-dominated fields. Like, I want to see women in leadership. I want to see women at all levels in organizations, and I want women to be able to show up as themselves and to have impact on their terms. That is what drives me. And that is what other people rally behind. They don't care about necessarily the individual woman's career. They care about seeing systemic change. And so that's my mission. And that's the stuff that I could talk about for hours. I don't keep quiet on these issues because it means something to me. And I want to be part of that movement that really does shift the dial in these industries, in property and construction and other dominated male spaces. I want to see that change, and I will do whatever I can to work towards that. I hope you've been enjoying the episode. I wanted to take a moment to let you know about my free Career Confidence Masterclass. This is for ambitious career-orientated women who are ready to stop playing small and to confidently create a career you love. Head over to my website, beautifuldisruptions.com, for more info. Now let's get back to the episode. Obviously, this calling and this purpose and mission is different for each of us. But really, just think about it, like in your heart of hearts, what is it that you want to do? And this requires us to really go beyond job titles and understanding how we'll do something. It requires us to really open our minds up to what's possible. What are the challenges we would like to tackle? Or what are the opportunities we would like to explore? Allow yourself to think about this from a place of endless possibility and of not needing to know the answers yet, right? I want you just to think about this as though absolutely anything is possible and just see what comes up for you. You don't have to land on this answer in, one sitting. I would be very surprised if you did, right? This actually does take some time. It's something that you explore and you uncover. And I think a great way to do that is really journaling and allowing your mind to expand in terms of possibility. And of course, everyone's mission is going to be different. Your mission may be to normalize sustainable design so it's no longer a add-on to a construction project. You might want it to be just part of the normal practice. Because when we look at that space, there is still so far to go. We know what to do, but we don't necessarily do them yet. So you might want to really drive that process so that it is the norm. And what your purpose is, what your mission is, it'll be different for each person. And that's, of course, fine, right? You find you. And, it might be that you want to make sustainability part of normal practice, right? Instead of it just being an add-on to projects or an optional thing that some people pursue, you might want to be part of the movement that absolutely normalizes sustainability into the fundamentals of architectural design and construction and fit out, right? That might be your jam. Or perhaps you want to step into a senior leadership role so you can show what's possible for women and girls or people of different backgrounds, right? Maybe you want to be part of that movement that stops our leadership teams and our boards being, white male and stale? It sounds ridiculous, but it's true. And, maybe that's your thing, but get clear on it. Get clear on what matters to you. And again, it's not about the how. It's not about what you are doing. It's about what you want to create. It's about your mission. It's about your legacy. And it's about what drives you and motivates you. And once we get clear on this, it not only then allows us to kind of work backwards to figure out what it is you want to do and what the steps to create change are. But it also allows you then to align every aspect of your life, because it really does become your North Star. It becomes the thing that you are constantly aligning to. And because the truth is, no matter what our purpose is, there are so many ways we can go about achieving it. But once we have that clarity on our purpose and our mission, we can see the different routes. We can start to imagine the different pathways. And that creates so much more opportunity for us and so much more freedom and fun. It allows us to explore things we never thought were possible, but that we know will create the end result that matters to us. And that's so important, because we want to finish the end of a hard day and know that our work matters. We want to know that it matters, even if it's just to us. Even if no one else sees the impact of what we did today, we want to know it matters. And that's why purpose is important. That's why mission is so key for us, because it creates that satisfaction and fulfillment, right? We all want to be fulfilled at work. Otherwise, what's the point? And frankly, we spend way too long at work to not feel fulfilled and satisfied with our contribution, right? And I'm not saying that every day will be sunshine and roses. I'm going to tell you, anyone who has a big purpose or a big mission in life, the days are going to be challenging, but it's going to be worth it. We're going to take on those challenges and be content with what we are doing and who we are, even though sometimes we will feel we're sinking. That clarity and that vision of our purpose allows us to take on the tough stuff. It allows us to do the work that pushes the limit. And as I said, once we have that North Star, we can align everything to it, right? We start to make career choices that work towards what we want. We start to only work for and with organizations that understand what is important to us. It becomes a filter. And similarly with the people we interact with, not only in our personal lives, but particularly in our professional lives and our networks, we start to form genuine, meaningful relationships based on having the same values. And they are the relationships that will sustain us. They are the relationships where we have each other's backs. And that is what we all want. Because the truth is, we work in tough industries. And particularly as a woman, we have to deal with a lot of bullshit and figure things out. And having people around you that want to see you succeed and will actually help you there, that is so important. It really is. And it makes the whole process, as I said before, it makes it more fun when you know you've got people there by your side, and it allows you to deal with the challenges. And so I guess my invitation to you today is really to get crystal clear on this for yourself, right? What is your purpose? What is your mission? What is it that drives you? And allow yourself to play with this. What if anything were possible? What would you be doing? What do you want your legacy to be? And don't be constrained by rational thought, right? Don't be concerned about how you're going to get paid or what other people will think. Fuck all that. Just get clear on what really lights that passion in you. Think about that thing. If you could really contribute to one area or one thing that you would die happy, what is that? And believe me, once you know it, you can reverse engineer all the other stuff, right? You can figure out the pathway and you can figure out how to get paid and how to build a sustainable model. We can do all these things once we know what it is that drives us. And for me, it was a real messy path to get to here. It felt uncertain to find my own purpose. It really did. But it was the most important work I ever did. And it shifted everything for me in terms of my happiness and my fulfillment and my relationships, because I was able to let go of the things that just didn't matter and to focus on the things that I genuinely cared about. And as I said, for me, my mission is around creating genuine diversity and equity. And that will keep me up at night, right? I will do the work. I will go the extra yards because that is what motivates me. And it stops being about the job, right? The job is kind of the byproduct. The job is the result or the vehicle to work towards the result. But I have this passion in me and it makes me want to keep going, irrespective of the circumstance, because I know I am doing important work there. And I know that this is possible for you too. So don't freak out that you've never done this or you've never really understood your mission before. We all start somewhere and it is completely possible to also leverage all your experiences to find that pathway forward. But you need to first of all know like what your purpose is. So give yourself the time and space. As I said before, like really journal on this. I would suggest journal on this for 30 days, do the work. Keep asking yourself, what is my mission? What drives me? And what movement do I want to be part of? What's the legacy I want to leave? Keep answering those questions and see what comes up for you. See what themes keep reoccurring. I would love to hear what you come up with and what's lit up in you, right? So come over and share with me. Drop me a note on LinkedIn and tell me what's happening for you. I'd love to know. But do this work. It will change your life in the absolute best kind of way. And it will bring that alignment and fulfillment back to your everyday. So I'm going to leave you there, and I can't wait to hear from you about what your purpose is and what it is that you are going to go for. Okay, my lovely friends, have a beautiful day. I will see you soon. Thank you for joining me on the Building Up Women in Property podcast. I'm Rebecca Bangura, and if you'd like to learn more about what I do, head over to LinkedIn and connect with me. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.